M8 that has been assigned, the first ones are all from the unit circle. So you need to use the unit circle and think about what angle has that as an answer. But when you get to this part, this means that you are supposed to use your calculator, okay? If it says give an exact answer, do not round, that's your clue to use the unit circle. But this is your clue to use the calculator. Now, if you look at your calculator, you're going to notice that there's not an inverse operation for cosecant. So we need to think about which of the three major trig functions this one relates to, and it's sine. Since sine of theta is equal to 1 over cosecant of theta, you know that you need to write the reciprocal of this one and then use the inverse of sine.
Did you give us all those, like what sine equals and theta and all that?
You mean the trig functions?
Yeah, like you see how you're like writing sine theta equals 1 over, I don't have any of that.
Okay. Let's finish this problem and we'll go back and talk about that some more. So, in this one, we need to write the reciprocal of cosecant. So, the reciprocal of a mixed number, this is really 3 and 5/10. Okay, does everybody see how that's 3 and 5/10? Okay, so if you write that, the cosecant is 3 and 5/10. If you write that as an improper fraction, wouldn't that be 35/10? 10 times 3 is 30, 35/10. I could reduce that, and it might be easier to work with if we do reduce it. 5 goes into 35 7 times, and 5 goes, so this is 7 over 2. So really, the cosecant is 7 over 2. So if this triangle exists, right, this is the triangle in quadrant 1, and we know that the cosecant is 7 over 2, that means that this is 7, and this is 2. Now we could use the Pythagorean theorem to find the other side, but we really don't need to answer this question, so we're just going to keep it like this. So if we know that this is true, then we know that the sine of the angle is 2 over 7. It's the reciprocal of that one. So 2 over 7. Now is when you need to pick up your calculator, and you need to find this button. So let's see if we can find this button. Here is your calculator piece. So turning on your calculator, you have the inverse of sine. That's this one. Second sine, and it's 2 over 7. And now what this is going to do is tell me the angle measure. But you know what I didn't do is check my mode. And you remember, this one was asking for degrees. Luckily, I'm in degrees. And so now I can say, okay, what's the angle measure? And so you see the angle measure is 16.60 to the nearest hundredth. So now I can go type that in. 16.60. It is going to, I think, make you put that 0 in because it wants hundredths. Okay, so let's see what it says. All right, so it says that we're all right. Sorry? Okay, so in this problem, we are working with secant. And secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So again, we want to turn this into a mixed number, and 1.1 is 1 and 1/10, which is 11/10. Okay, and that's the secant. So the secant of theta is equal to 11/10. Therefore, the cosine of theta is equal to 10 over 11. So the key sequence is the inverse of cosine, that's the second function of cosine. For this, what angle has this as its cosine? And they want the answer in radians. So the first thing you want to do is change your mode to radians. So change your mode to radians. Changing your mode is the first task. And then we're going to put the inverse of cosine there. And it is 10 over 11. And so the radian measure to the nearest hundredth is 0.43. And this may look funny because it doesn't have a pi in it, but the pi is already in there. So we could divide this by pi and write so many pi if we wanted to. But typically when you have this in your calculator, they've already put the 3.141592653 in there. And so the answer to this that we're going to type in is 0.43. 0.43. And it's going to tell us that we're correct.
That's a lot of work for a problem.
Okay? Is it the connection?
So you gotta put a